Have you ever wondered what the biggest wars in our world's history were? The concept of war, as old as civilization itself, has been a constant thread woven through the fabric of human history. From the earliest records, we find tales of conflict and conquest, power and pride, heroes and horrors. Take a journey back to the ancient civilizations of Egypt, Greece and Rome, where war was not just a matter of survival but a path to glory. Consider the Trojan War, a decade-long siege that has echoed through millennia in the form of epic poetry and myth. Or the Punic Wars, a series of 3 conflicts fought by Rome and Carthage that forever changed the face of the Mediterranean world. These wars, though ancient, remain significant, their impacts reverberating through the ages. As we move forward in time, the scale of wars only seems to increase. Now, let's travel to the Middle Ages, a time of knights, castles, and conquest. This era was marked by 2 significant military campaigns, the Crusades and the Mongol invasions. The Crusades, a series of religious wars, brought together an array of European knights and nobles under a single banner, the cross. They ventured into the Holy Land, sparking a clash of cultures and religions that reverberated across continents. Meanwhile, the Mongols, under the leadership of Genghis Khan, embarked on one of the most extensive land conquests in history. From Asia to Eastern Europe, the Mongols' swift and brutal campaigns reshaped the world map. These wars were not just about territory. They shaped the political and cultural landscapes of their time. They brought about shifts in power, introduced new ideas and cultures, and forever altered the course of history. The cost of these wars was high, not just in terms of lives lost, but also in the changes they brought about. As we enter the 20th century, the world witnesses warfare on a scale never seen before. The globe is on fire, and 2 world wars set the stage. World War I, also known as the Great War, was an international conflict that lasted from 1914 to 1918. The war involved more than 30 countries and claimed the lives of over 17 million people, making it one of the deadliest conflicts in human history. The world had never seen such devastation, and the hope was that it would be the war to end all wars. But unfortunately, that was not to be. Just 2 decades later, the world found itself embroiled in another war, this time even more destructive. World War II, from 1939 to 1945, involved over 30 countries and resulted in the deaths of over 70 million people, making it the deadliest war in human history. These wars were not confined to one continent or region. They spread across the globe, touching every corner of the earth. From the trenches of Europe to the islands of the Pacific, from the deserts of Africa to the icy waters of the Atlantic, no place was safe from the reach of these conflicts. The 20th century also saw significant advancements in warfare technology. World War I introduced the world to tanks, poison gas, and aerial combat. By the time of World War II, technology had advanced further, with the introduction of radar, jet engines, and the most destructive weapon of all, the nuclear bomb. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945 marked the first and only use of nuclear weapons in warfare, changing the face of war forever. These wars changed the world, and their effects are still felt today. The geopolitical boundaries were redrawn, nations rose and fell, and the human cost was staggering. The world at war was a world transformed, and we continue to live in its shadow. In our modern era, warfare has taken on a new form. The Cold War, spanning from the mid-20th century, was a chess game of political maneuvering, espionage, and proxy wars. The battlefield extended beyond physical geography into the arenas of ideology and technology. Simultaneously, we've seen a series of conflicts unfold in the Middle East. Traditional warfare has given way to more covert operations, as nations grapple for control in this volatile region. Modern warfare is no longer simply about boots on the ground, it's about cyber warfare, unmanned drones, and sophisticated surveillance systems. As we journey through the annals of military history, from the earliest battles to the digital frontlines of today, we notice a pattern of escalation and advancement. Each era has brought its own innovations, its own strategies, and its own tragedies. As we look back at the biggest wars in history, we see a pattern of escalation and advancement. One can only hope that we learn from our past to avoid such conflicts in the future.